1,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds. Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
Remember, the Force will be with you.
What an incredible timeline. Congratulations, Congressman. We live in the state of Florida. I want to tell you this. I know I've told you this personally, ringside at UFC, but I'll tell you this live right now. You have my full endorsement as a man who's building my family and my business here in Florida. We are honored to have you step into the race, and it's going to be a freaking real one, man.
Listen, Benny, thank you so much for your support. And really to the people of Florida, you know, this is a mission of taking the best state in the country, making sure it stays that way, and then taking it to new heights. You know, Benny, I got to Florida at 17 years old. I went to FAMU, and then I went to Florida State, graduated from Florida State. I've done everything in this state. I matured in this state. I was married in this state, built my family in this state, had a 17-year career in finance in Florida. And I was able to serve in the state legislature and in Congress. And so, you know, my goal is simple. Florida has been great to me. I want it to be great for everybody. And, you know, the beauty of this time and this campaign is that it's really standing on the work that's been done by Ron DeSantis, by Rick Scott, by so many conservatives that have gone through Tallahassee and done their part to make Florida the best state in the country. And really want to use this opportunity to build on all the work that they've done to make it significantly better. But Benny, your support matters so much. I thank you for that. And now I got to go and earn the support of every Floridian.
Yes, so this is a state that is roaring right now. It is a state that is rocking. There are problems that the state has, and one of them I wanted to chat with you about. The property taxes are insane. We have young company here. People want to buy houses. I'm speaking on behalf of my young company. There's a lot of young people that want to move to Florida, but sometimes that Florida dream's a little out of reach. You yourself are a family man and a father. Can you talk us through like how you're going to make it possible for young people to move to Florida, to start lives here, to lower some of the property taxes and some of the limitations to getting this rocket ship more off the launch pad?
Well, listen, you raise a great point. We have two major issues. Property taxes are one, but insurance costs, frankly, Benny, they're the bigger ones. When you go on and sign that mortgage and they talk about the monthly payment, if you go use a calculator, that's one thing. But when you add on taxes, insurance, that's when that payment really balloons. It makes it hard for young people in particular to be able to step into the next phase of the American dream in Florida. So when it comes to property insurance, we're going to get down to brass tacks. My career was in banking and finance. And so we have to be very creative about how we're going to address the insurance crisis because rates are out of control. We got to find a way to level that playing field and actually start to get them down. We need more insurance carriers in our state, people to write more policies. We have to find a way to spread that risk out while at the same time not leaving the taxpayers holding the bag. If things don't go wrong. And look, we are a peninsula. We're a hurricane-prone state. We all know that. And still people are choosing Florida. But how we address insurance is going to be critical. To property taxes, I know the governor and the legislature are looking at modifications to property taxes or getting rid of them altogether. I'm totally in support of the work that they are going to do, and I want to see where that goes. And I think there's some creative solutions about trying to find ways to either eliminate, to minimize or eliminate property taxes in our state going forward. You're going to have to make some adjustments on the other side of that ledger because you're still going to have to make sure you pay for fire, for police, for local infrastructure, etc. But those are things that we definitely want to make sure that we address so that people can afford to be in Florida and take part in what is the fabric of the best state in the country.
Yeah, so you would be in favor of potentially eliminating property taxes here in the state of Florida? That'd be,
oh, yes, I would definitely be in favor of it. But I do want to be very clear with everybody. There's going to be some adjustments that are going to have to be made in local governments. There's a lot of thought that needs to go into this. And so you want to make sure that even as you eliminate property taxes, that, you know, the county governments that have police, fire, road infrastructure, the things that really do matter to the day-to-day lives of people living in our state, that those matters still can be addressed after you eliminate property taxes. So there's a long way to go. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the results of the governor's work right now with the state legislature to see what can be accomplished and then building upon that.
So you've gotten the endorsement of President Trump. You were flying on Air Force One just last weekend, the Daytona 500 with the president, and then Donald Trump full-throated endorsement of your candidacy right after that. Your relationship with Trump is really strong, and it'd be great to have an ally in this state working with the president because this is one of the fastest growing states and the fastest growing economy in America right now.
Absolutely. And I think that, if you want to talk about just the cost of living overall, you're going to need a relationship with the president of the United States because so much of it, the inflation issues stem from massive federal overspending and massive federal regulation. And so where Donald Trump stands on that. He wants to get that inflation out of our economy overall. And that's going to fall and waterfall into Florida. So if we get national inflation under control, that only helps Floridians. We all know we're a hurricane prone state. Having direct relationships with the president of the United States is only going to help us be able to mitigate storm damage somewhat on the front end and then get quick responses on the back end when we have to rebuild communities, help people get back on their feet. And then last but not least, one of the things that's on my plate that I want to do for the state of Florida is turn Florida into the financial capital of the world. Digital assets and cryptocurrency organically have found a home in South Florida. Working with the president and his administration, we want to make sure that the financial hub of our country is Florida. Listen, it used to be New York for a long time. Their legislature is a mess. Their government is a mess. There's no reason why that can't be Florida. And Benny, one last thing I'll add to that. I want to make Florida to be the easiest state in the country for you to incorporate your business. That used to be the state of Delaware, but Delaware allowed the woke mind virus to infect their state and their court system. In Florida, we want to make sure going forward that we are the easiest state to incorporate your business, that we have a seamless judicial system where those cases can be adjudicated, but it doesn't drive businesses out of our state. We want to make sure that Florida becomes the beacon of true economic liberty and economic freedom, building upon the great work of the current governor, Ron DeSantis.
So you're coming for New York. You're coming for New York.
Absolutely.
You're saying, no, man, you come down here. That's already happening all throughout Miami, all over the state. People from New York coming down. I mean, Palm Beach, it's like the president himself said, no, I'm out, right? I'm going to Palm Beach. That's where the Southern White House is going to be.
You're absolutely right. But I guess so to put it simply, am I coming for New York? Yes, I am. Because the truth is, Florida, we used to just be a retirement state. That's not the case anymore. We've started becoming a destination state, but frankly, we're more than that. We are now an everything state. Like I said, I give Ron DeSantis full credit. Our state university system is the best in the country. We're going to continue that, and we're going to build upon it. We have everything you need to be a hub financially, and we're going to make that happen. And then people are raising their families here like you, Benny. They're starting businesses in our state. We have become the everything state. We're the best state in the country. We're the best run, and we're going to show the other 49 how to get the job done.
So let's continue some of these policies that made this state so strong for families. Pam Bondi and recently the past legislature to have capital punishment, right, for predators here in this state. Obviously, Epstein worked in this state, right, and was caught a case here. Unfortunately, the feds let him go. But there's a lot of families that want to move to Florida and want to make sure that it's a safe place for their children to raise their children. I assume you're going to support law enforcement and these laws to make sure that there's maximum penalties for people who threaten families here.
100%. Listen, you can't have a society if you don't have public safety. So you can't build businesses. Kids can't get educated. You can't have stable communities where people are thriving and growing without safe communities, safe streets, and support for law enforcement. Law enforcement will have my full support in order to do the things that have already happened in Florida, making it the most safest place in the country to live. So we're not going to tolerate the radical violence from the left. We're not going to tolerate people who want to victimize children. That is not going to be tolerated in the state of Florida. We're going to respect families. We're going to respect communities. And we're going to respect the men and women that put the blue on every single day to keep all of our communities safe.
Fantastic. How about your work with President Trump when it comes to deportations? I know that Florida is a major landing point for criminal aliens and that there has been a major problem. Like, for instance, Congressman, up the road from me, there's a criminal alien drunk driving, kills an American mother and her 2-year-old son. Happened just right outside of Tampa. This has been a major issue for the state. How are you going to work with President Trump on criminal immigrants?
Very seamlessly. Florida has actually been one of the leaders on the 287G program, where you have somebody who commits crimes and it puts them on the fast track to actually being deported out of our country. We're going to provide all support to President Trump, to Secretary Noem, and to Border Czar Tom Homan. Whatever they need, they're going to receive in Florida. And again, I want to congratulate and commend Governor DeSantis and the legislature for coming together, finding that compromise so that they can now build up the infrastructure to work seamlessly with President Trump and the federal government with mass deportations and getting these people out of our state. It's going to be critical going forward, again, for public safety, but then also to stabilize costs in our state. One of the things that doesn't get talked much about with mass illegal immigration is that illegal immigrants basically go to our emergency rooms all the time. They drive up costs for healthcare. And yes, we do have immigrant children who are in our classrooms, and they take away resources from kids who are in low socioeconomic areas, just trying to get the best education possible so they can build a future for themselves. So in Florida, we are going to be working seamlessly with President Trump when it comes to getting people out of our state and deporting criminal aliens. But then we also want to make sure that the resources that are meant for Floridians actually remain for Floridians. So we'll be working with President Trump to make sure that's a reality as well.
Ron DeSantis, popular here. You've brought him up a couple times in this interview. How's that relationship? Some are rumoring that, see what happens, right, in this race. Yeah. Obviously, you've lined up in a very impressive series of endorsements, and you launched your campaign last night on Sean Hannity's program with your announcement. How's that relationship with DeSantis?
I mean, look, I think it's something that's got to be worked on. I'll be direct with you, Benny. The governor and I had a good relationship. I was on his debate prep team in 2018 when he was running against Andrew Gillum, and I was there with him to help him beat Andrew Gillum and become governor today. I was there with him when he won re-election in 2022, and I know that, we had a little bit of parting of the ways when I supported President Trump, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Ron DeSantis has done a tremendous job as governor of our state. Before the presidential cycle and, being a surrogate for Donald Trump, I was always calling him America's governor because he has been the best governor in the country. So I think that, in politics, sometimes you go through these times where, there's things aren't really coming together from a relationship standpoint. But I think that, once we kind of work through that, there'll be plenty of opportunities to mend that fence. My interests are in making sure that we have a great relationship because he's done a fantastic job for our state. I'm glad he's been governor of our state. I not only rooted for him, I campaigned for him, and I helped him be governor of our state. And so I want to basically take all the things that he has done and just build upon them. He's laid a great legacy in Florida. I want to be able to work with him, be able to learn from him in the areas where I need to know some of the pitfalls that are associated with the governor's office, because it's not about myself. It's not about Governor DeSantis. It's about the people of Florida. And my focus is going to be them. I know that's his focus, and we'll be able to work out the other stuff.
Congressman, you bring up, of course, the most interesting part of this conversation, which is you're running to be governor of arguably the most successful state in the union, and a state that's done so well and has attracted so much new energy and so much positivity. What will you be doing differently as governor? How do you look to improve further this state that's already, again, on a rocket ship?
Well, first things first is, we're in this position being the best state in the country. Now the hard part is staying the best state in the country. My good friend Vivek Ramaswamy, he announced the other day he's running to be the next governor of Ohio. And, he said in his speech, and I heard Vivek loud and clear, that he wants to make Ohio the best state in the country. So I sent him a text and I said, look, Vivek, congrats on the announcement. Love everything you're saying. But newsflash, you're still going to be number two. So now the challenge is you've been the best, you got to stay the best. And that's just showing up every day, doing the maintenance, making sure that everything is humming along like a fine-tooth comb. And then when you add on the stuff like making Florida the next financial hub of the world, that's the stuff that takes our state to the next level. Obviously, you maintain the seriousness on public safety that Governor DeSantis has, and that Governor Scott did as well. You maintain that. And public education, our university system is at the highest heights. We are the standard bearer for school choice in the country. Florida is that standard bearer. Now, I think the thing in public education, or not just public education, education overall, we want to make sure we're using every tool possible to help kids in our state achieve proficiency in math and reading, in writing, and in reasoning. When you look at how we score our schools and how we create school grades, everything is based upon grade level, where kids are at the medium in the overall student population and comparing them to other states and other countries. I want to change that a little bit. I want us to start focusing on proficiency, because proficiency, mastery in reading and writing and arithmetic, that's the stuff that has a young kid be able to go from being poor or growing up in a middle class family and changing their trajectory in life to really do awesome things as they build out their dream in Florida. They build out their families in Florida. And so it's really tough to build on success. And so what you want to do is keep the successes going and then find new ways to expand not just the strength of our state, but also to expand the possibilities for the people that live in our state, especially children who are going to grow up in our state.
Yes, that's right. Your father, you have children that are in school. I'm a father of 4. This is, of course, the greatest motivator that you can have in life, with one exception, which is destroying Gavin Newsom. That's also a wonderful motivator. Gavin Newsom picks on Florida, and this is my final question for you, Congressman. Sure. Gavin Newsom constantly picking on Florida, constantly coming after Florida, always targeting Florida, saying, no, stop, probably because so many Californians are coming to this state. Maybe that's his own problem. But the point is that if you get this chair, Congressman, you're going to be fighting with Gavin. You ready for that fight?
Always. I have no problem battling with Gavin Newsom. I mean, look, California used to be the Golden State, but now it's just really a terribly run state. And I feel bad for the people of California because, Benny, I mean, look, the weather's beautiful out there. Truly it is. It's beautiful weather in California, but their government is a mess. And even as you put the photos up about the forest fires that occurred out there, let me make sure people are assured. In Florida, we're going to continue the job of managing our environment, and then we're going to finish the job on restoring our Everglades waterway system so we have clean water and a great environment built on conservative principles that stand the test of time. We're going to continue to be the freest state, the best state, the most business-friendly state. And then if California decides that they want to dump Gavin Newsom and choose real leadership, we'll give them a model to follow because Florida is going to lead the way. And if Gavin wants to have that debate in the future, I'm more than ready to have it with him.
Okay, man. Those are them's fighting words. Really quickly, you're going to call it the Gulf of America?
Already do. It's the Gulf of America.
Gulf of America.
I live in Naples, Florida, so it's the Gulf of America as far as I'm concerned. And listen, thank you to President Trump for doing that. Frankly, Floridians, everybody has rallied around that. It's been tremendous. I don't know what the Associated Press is doing, but I think they're stuck in the past. They need to get with the times. But listen, Benny, I'm just really honored to take this step, honored to have the endorsement, the complete and total support of President Trump. And to the people of Florida, I promise you, I will not let you down. I'm a kid that got to this state at 17. Florida means everything to me. I really developed in politics. I came up in the Tea Party movement and in the conservative movement. And I believe in those conservative principles that made Florida the best. And we're not going to stop. We're just going to get better from here.
Come on, baby. Get in there and follow Byron Donalds, the next governor of Florida. Very, very proud to have you on the program. Godspeed. I know this is going to be a fun race. It's going to be a wild ride, living in the golden era. Godspeed, Congressman.
Listen, thanks, Benny. Take it easy.